Alright, this is Tiny Titans 23 from the year 2000. That was the year that Pulp sang about. This begins a three-part story that for about the 50th time attempts to clean up or revise or make clear the origin of Donatello. It's a good story, but I'm not much of a Tiny Titans fan. I like a lot of the characters, but I have never really gotten into any of their books. These 3 issues and a mini-series from around this time, they are the most that I have really done with them. Both this and that mini-series are good, but I don't know. Some things are just best left unread, so you can always have these great comics that you could one day read. This is written by Jason Faerber, who we have seen over at Marvel, writing that Generation Next stuff. He seems like a quality writer who got left behind when comic books moved away from being written by people who liked comic books and started being written by resentful people who couldn't get any screenwriting jobs. The plot is that everyone has forgotten about Donatello. Their memories of her have been erased. Nobody remembers who she is. Our team is Robert, aka Dick Greyskull, Red Arrow, Argos, Flask Girl, Acroman Jr. and Donatello. And the art is by Pelletier, who is great. We have a very quick little fight with Flask Girl running in, but then we do what I love, which is the superheroes trying to talk things through. Donatello, she says how their perceptions have been altered and tampered with, and she reveals how she knows Robert's real name as proof that she's not some stranger like they all think she is. So they go and they look over all their files and they find no mention of her. And then when even Red Arrow's adorable little daughter doesn't recognise her, Donatello, she gets emotional and she runs off upset. She begins to see her on again, off again love interest, Green Lanterns, the Kyle Reese version. And he doesn't remember who she is either. So she gets upset again because Green Lanterns doesn't remember anything about their relationship and their love for each other. And now it is time for a subplot that we won't really see any more of after this issue. Then we have got this bloke, he is running for mayor, and good for him. We need more diverse mayors out there, but of course, there is always a bunch of sad dinosaurs wandering towards the tar pits, and he gets attacked by a supervillain who is probably just opposed to the idea of a black mayor. But Donatello, she shows up to save the day and beat up this nasty boy, and even the baddie doesn't recognise her or know who she is meant to be. But then Phantasm shows up, and he's the only person who actually remembers Donatello. He's the only one who does, and there is never an explanation for this. But what happens is, Phantasm, he realises that everyone else has forgotten Donatello, so he decides that she is of no use to him. Nobody knows who she is, so he cannot use her fame or recognition for himself. Phantasm, he doesn't appear in this story after this either. Back to the subplot with Red Arrow. His daughter's babysitter has been up to no good. Well, her babysitting is fine. That's not a problem. The problem is that outside of the babysitting, she may have betrayed the team. We have a subplot bit with that baddie from before, and this means nothing to me. I've not read any of the other stories, but this is probably building towards summit. Finally, Donatello, she gans to her adoptive mother, and even she doesn't remember her. You would think that Donatello, she would have cottoned on to the idea that nobody remembers her anymore by this point. I mean, how many times does she have to face this same scene again and again? So she feels all defeated and sad, and it's all the work of Dark Angle, this evil witch woman thing who hates Donatello. She has been going to different realities and erasing Donatello's existence from everyone's minds. But there remains a group of heroes who do remember Donatello, and they are the Tiny Titans from the future. These guys, they never get much exploration or development, but we have, this is Acro Girl, this is Night Star, and she is the daughter of Dick Grayskull and Star Fox. Most of them are like the kids of the current Tiny Titans. This one here, this fella, he is Dark Star, Donatello's son. This is Red Arrow's daughter, all grown up. And finally, this is Flask Girl, but this version is Willie West's daughter. They are in the rest of this story, and they were also in another story where they fought the psychic pilot. I think some of them, like the Flask's daughter and Red Arrow's daughter, they first appeared in these identities, like as the new Flask Girl and the new Red Arrow, in Tragic Kingdom. The covers for this story, they all combine. I'll show that when or if I get to the final part. They are quite good covers, but we'll talk about them more later. I think this is good. We have got some stellar art by Paulie Pelletgun. We have got a decent hook for a story with some cool characters. It was kind of just like seeing the same scene play out several times over, but I still rate it 7 thumbs up.